everyone, it's Enjoy English School. I'm Chris Gorski.
I'm Minnie.
Today is day 2 of our 2-day article called The Truth About Creativity.
那我们今天12月14号要接续昨天的主题，创造新生活。
So yesterday we kind of talked about ways that you can help yourself be creative and why being creative is important. But there's still a lot of questions we have to talk about, and that's what we're going to look at today. So what are some of the things that might stand in your way to being creative?
所以昨天我们学到一个片语叫做 stand in the way， 对不对？就是代表阻挠你。所以老师刚刚问了一个问题哦，有什么事情会阻挠你的创造力呢？
So one thing I try to be creative in is I try to break a lot of the rules of teaching. Like I know like a lot of your teachers are like very formal, and I try to be more relaxed with my students. I try to make them feel really comfortable. Maybe you hate English, but you like my class because I try to treat you like a real person. For me, that actually takes a lot of creative energy because students are always different.
所以老师说这个好难哦。这个老师说什么事情阻挠你的创意呢？他说他在教学的时候想办法融入很多他的创意，因为他知道学生很讨厌英文，对不对？但是他会让学生爱上他的课。然后老师刚刚说 treat you like a person， 我觉得好重的话。
Alright, so treat you like a person. So a lot of time 我们对学生就是每一个学生都一模一样，对不对？ But 事实上我明白大家的情况比较少不一样 ，OK？ 有一些人真的很会学英文，有一些人他们对英文有兴趣，不会学比较慢，所以我要看你自己的个人的情况，明白这个个人的情况，然后事实上我要找方法让你在我办法
中文有4个字可以讲，因材施教。
因材施教，对吗？对，我听不到。All right.
The truth about creativity. One of the main obstacles to being creative is called fear of failure. In other words, some people think they won't be good at writing, drawing, etc., so they just don't try. How do you conquer this fear? For starters, in your own mind, change what failure is. For example, you might think failure is painting a picture that you see as ugly. However, what if failure was actually not painting anything at all? The first step toward success is remembering that it's always better to try, even if things don't work out the way you wanted at first. Second, you need to remember that, like any skill, creativity takes practice. Start with the simplest thing of all, observing the world around you. Every artist has a distinct way of seeing the people, places, and things that surround them. Don't be afraid to just sit in a place and watch and see what ideas come to you. Don't be scared to change your environment as well. If you want to write, try going to a park or a cafe rather than sitting at home. Change your mental environment too, by reading books or articles on things you're not familiar with. Step outside your comfort zone to discover a new world and a new you.
All right, let's jump right into paragraph 1 here. It begins, one of the main obstacles to being creative is called fear of failure.
那阻止我们发挥创意其中一个绊脚石，很有名的绊脚石就叫做害怕失败。
So the word obstacle is one of our key words today, and it's also got a good Latin root. When we have the word OB at the front of our word, it's usually Latin, and it means like towards.
所以以后看到 OB 这样字开头，大部分都是拉丁文来的哦，它代表的就是走向、靠近的意思。
It's related to our phrase yesterday, to stand in your way. So when someone stands in your way, they're usually also looking at you. They want to kind of challenge you or make you feel nervous. So an obstacle is looking at you and saying, no, you can't come here.
哇，所以 obstacle 这个字呢，它其实就是绊脚石，看着你就说你做不到。
Yeah, that's right. It's a challenge. Next we have the fear of failure. Fear here is it's the fear. It's a noun. And then we have failure. And failure is both a countable and an uncountable noun. You can be a failure. That means like you're a loser. Sometimes, maybe sometime when you know this, you put the L here. It means you're a loser. And it can also just be failure like in the average sense. So it's also uncountable.
所以 failure 这个字它可以当作是 loser 的意思，就会是鲁蛇嘛，大家会讲鲁蛇，那它就是变成可数的名词。那如果是当作是失败的话，它是不可数名词。
So fear of failure reminded me of FOMO, the fear of missing out. And that's when people run to some cool new trend because they want to be part of something popular. And if they're too slow to it, people laugh at you because you're not doing the cool new thing. The fear of missing out.
那人家会简称 FOMO, FOMO.
Yeah, it's like the cool new dance.
就是代表说你很害怕你没有就是待在流行里面的那种人。
Yeah.
很急于跟别人一样的那种人，我们就叫他 FOMO.
And you don't even think, is this cool or not? You just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's continue. In other words, some people think they won't be good at writing, drawing, etc. So they just don't try.
所以有些人认为他自己就是会不擅长写作、绘画等等的 etc. 就是等等等，所以他们就干脆放弃尝试。
I hate saying that phrase in Chinese. When I teach good at, bad at.
等等等。
No. So good at, bad at. I always say like 香肠 and they're like, ha ha, 香肠, like you're eating like the 香肠 sausage. Kids always laugh at me like 香肠.
擅长。
Chinese is hard, man. English is easy.
I know.
So when we say good at, the opposite is bad at. But we also can say strong at or weak at.
Ooh.
So this is also a prepositional phrase here. We have an at preposition. So don't forget, anything we put after it has to be a noun. That's why we're saying writing or drawing, not to write or to draw.
所以我们这边 good at 画底线，你可以把 strong at 也写上去，看到 at 就知道我们后面又要接名词啦，所以这边后面的 writing drawing 才会是动名词的形式。
And also don't forget, everybody that's really good at something also was not good at it when they started. They were doo-doo, they were garbage. And it's because they loved it, they practiced it and got better. So don't be afraid of looking bad. Like, don't be afraid to be bad at something. It's okay.
对，刚开始的人一定都会很烂嘛，但是你就是要越做越熟，越做越厉害。
Yeah, don't worry about people not like, haha, you're not good. It's like, well, I just started. What, you want me to be good? I just started.
但我们也不要去当笑别人的那个人啦。
Yeah, I agree. All right, let's go. How do you conquer this fear?
那你要怎么样战胜这一份恐惧呢？
For starters, in your own mind, change what failure is.
For starters, 首先你要在心中改变你对失败的定义。
Highlight the S at the end of for starters. We also could just say to start.
所以如果用 for 的话，后面 starter 加 s； 如果用 to 的话，直接用 start 不需要加 s。
For example, you might think failure is painting a picture that you see as ugly.
所以这边 for example 举例说明，你可能会觉得说，所谓的失败就是画出一幅很丑的图。
So when you say see as, that means you think is. Write that down. This see as is a little more formal, but it just means think is.
所以 see as 就是视为，有点像是就是什么东西的意思。
Yeah, I mean, look at when little kids like you have little kids like ever draw like a picture for you. It's always real ugly and it's always real stupid looking, right? No little kid ever drew a picture and you're like, oh, it's really beautiful. But what do you always say? Wow, thank you for your picture. And then you're like, what is it? Why do you ask what is it? Because you don't know. Because the little kid can't draw. The little kid doesn't know how to draw well. But you're not like, ha ha, this is ugly. You don't do that because you're trying to encourage that little kid. But when someone gets older, we stop doing that. And I feel that's a bad thing. But like, dude, that's a good start. That's a good start.
所以我们要记得永远都要鼓励我们身边的人或鼓励自己，像是我们以前小时候画第一幅画一样。你好棒，这是什么？
Yeah, you're like, hey, this is Sammy. Wait, someone, you don't know. That's why you asked that question, right? Let's continue. However, what if failure was actually not painting anything at all?
不过，这个想法很好哦。他说，其实如果真正的失败其实是什么都不做呢？
There's a lot of famous writers and musicians that will tell you the most important part of music or writing It's just every day you make something. It doesn't, maybe it's garbage and no one will ever hear it or see it. But you never know when you're playing and just being a little bit creative every day, you might find that thing that's truly great.
很多的作家或作曲者，他们都会告诉你，其实最重要的事情是每天都要去做出一点点作品，因为你永远不知道你哪一天会有一个 masterpiece， 哪一天会有一个作品出来啊。
That's right. You never know when you're going to have that feeling.
对。
All right, let's get ready for our next paragraph. All right, let's get into our paragraph. The first step towards success is remembering that it's always better to try even if things don't work out the way you wanted at first.
所以老师的想法在文章里也体现了。他说，迈向成功的第一步是你要永远记得说，要一直尝试，永远是更好的，就是你要不停的尝试，即使事情一开始不一定会照着你期望的方式进行，你还是要一直尝试哦。
All right, so we have the phrase work out here, and we know work out is kind of like to exercise, but here work out really means to get good results.
所以 work out 我们常常拿来用来说I do work out every day, I work out every day 那个我每天都运动有没有？但是这边的 work out 其实指的是说你做什么事情成功的时候，我们就会说 work out.
What was that voice you're using? Yeah, work out every day.
Yeah.
Was that to make fun of the person or?
Just a lot of like hunks 很多那种很壮的男生不都有这种声音？对啊，我每天都运动。Stereotype.
It's a stereotype. It's a good one. All right, here we go. Second, you need to remember that like any skill, creativity takes practice.
第二步呢，你永远要记得哦，一如往常，一如任何技巧，跟什么事情都一样，创意讲求的是多练习。
So it takes practice. You probably think of practice as a verb, like you should practice English every day. But practice also can be a noun, and here it's an uncountable noun. It takes what? It takes practice.
所以 practice 我们学的时候，刚开始是练习，多练习是动词，但在这边我们当作是不可数名词，它也是练习的意思。
Our next sentence says, start with the simplest thing of all, observing the world around you.
Oh, I love to do this. 他说从最简单的部分下手，也就是你要 observe, 你要观察你周遭的世界。
Okay, so we got two things in this sentence. Number one, we know the word simple is like rongi, right? And then we also have the word easy. But they're not the same thing. Now, they sound similar and often just 都可以, right? But they are actually a little different. So when something is simple, that means anybody can do it. When things are easy, it means it's not complex. 不复杂, okay? So when we think of like a store is a really easy idea. I have some things, I'm going to sell it. We know that's a very simple idea, but 事实上，你鼓励人来到你的商店，也要看你的东西，你比别人的还要便宜，比别人的品质还要高。None of that is easy. Okay? So simple and easy are not the same because easy 的相反是什么？复杂 complex.
所以去记得说用 simple 的时候，代表说是一个很单纯简单的事情，大家都可以做。但 easy 的话是代表不复杂，那它的相反词就会是 complex, C-O-M-P-L-E-X.
Our next word in this sentence is to observe. And if we remember our first sentence, we had obstacle. And that OB 是什么意思? Towards you, right? So obstacle means it looks at you and it says, no.
你做不到。
Now this here says to observe. And remember, to observe means to look at something. You said you like to do that. You need to look at it. If you are observing, that means looking at it carefully. 如果你这样子的话, but 东西在这里, you can't see it, right? Now, we know, because you and I are cat people, our cats will observe us with their ears. And they won't look at you, but they'll listen to you. So observing sometimes is more than just your eyes. It's also about your ears.
这个观念很好哦，要记得 observe 我们都说是观察，但其实有时候 observe 听觉很仔细听也是一种 observe.
Our next sentence says, every artist has a distinct way of seeing the people, places, and things that surround them.
那每个艺术家都有独树一格的视角看待身边的人事物地方。
Distinct just means unique, like Uniqlo, right? U-N-I-Q-U-E.
Unique, 独特的。
And our next sentence says, don't be afraid to just sit in a place and watch and see what ideas come to you.
所以不要害怕在一个地方就坐下来，然后就做观察这件事情，看看有什么样的 idea 主意浮上你的脑海里。
All right, highlight afraid to because we're going to see another good phrase in our next sentence. But why do we say be afraid to? Students, please do not 就乱用 be, the word be. Don't do that, okay? 你每次用 be 就是有一个特定为什么。What's the first word in this sentence? Don't. Don't is a verb. It's saying use a verb. Simple present tense, use a verb. 但是 afraid of and scared of, 下一句, those are adjectives, right? So 文法说 hey, you need a verb. And 你说但是我没有动词，我只有形容词而已。怎么办？
补一个 be.
你用 be, that's right. 那现在配合。The end.
对啊，所以永远要记得形容词前面要有个 be 动词。那因为前面是 don't， 它有点像是助动词，所以后面要加一个原形动词 be am is are 打成原形，所以是 be。
That's right. Don't 不要乱用 be 哦，好讨厌看到学生就一直乱用 be。
好凶哦。
All right, let's get ready for our final paragraph. All right, friends, welcome back. Let's begin the final paragraph. It begins, don't be scared to change your environment as well.
所以他说同样的不要却步于改变你身处的环境，这边 be scared to 就要画底线，跟我们上一段的 be afraid to 去做一个对比，注意一下 be 的用法，不然有人会生气。
That's right. And don't forget to highlight scared to and scared to, afraid to, because we also can say afraid of or scared of something. So when we use to, use that verb. When we use of, use your noun.
所以 afraid to, afraid of 差异就是，或者是 scared to, scared of 差异就是 to 后面加动词 of 后面加名词。
If you want to write, try going to a park or a cafe rather than sitting at home.
Rather than 是一个很重要的用法，而不是。所以他说，如果你想要写作的时候，与其待在家，不如试试看去公园或咖啡厅。
Change your mental environment too by reading books or articles on things you're not familiar with.
Mental 这个字好重要诶 ，mental 代表是你的心理的哦，所以它同时呢，它也改变你的心理环境，透过阅读关于不熟悉的事物的书籍或文章，也可以改变。
So maybe you really like you really like music. And sometimes you know that, like, if you listen to one band for a long time, their sound changes. I'm like, 五月天 is a good example like that. They've been famous for a long time, and their music has kind of changed. And that's kind of the idea. That's kind of the job of what's called the producer. And the producer part of their job is to help kind of give the CD or the album a special sound, a unique or distinct sound. And one way they do that is they try to change the environment for the artists, and they'll often play and introduce them to new music and books to kind of change their thinking when they make their new music. And that's sometimes why some CDs will be so, or albums will be so different than like the old ones.
所以老师刚刚举例说，像制作人他就需要很有创意，他们就会建议可能他们的乐手啊，或他们的歌手啊，去听不一样的 CD， 去不同的环境，然后去激发出那种创造力。
Yeah, they'll do like a study for like 3 months. They'll read these books, listen to this music. And if that musician does that, they'll have these new ideas that they'll put in their own music. Now, I'm not saying that's what Wu Yitian does, but that's just an example that you might know.
所以我们要激发自己的创意，也可以做这样的事情。听不同的音乐，看不同的书，去不同的地方，都可以激发不一样的创意。
Our last sentence says, step outside your comfort zone to discover a new world and a new you.
跨出你的舒适圈，这个中文很常讲哦，英文请你画起来，直接背起来。如果你自传要写的时候非常好用，发现一个新的世界，然后一个新的自己。
The step outside your comfort zone is really famous. It's a very common phrase. Highlight it, learn it. Let's get ready for vocab review. All right, friends, it's time for vocab review. Our first word today is an obstacle.
绊脚石或者是你的障碍，我们就会用 obstacle 这个字。
Number 2 today is a countable and an uncountable noun, failure.
那第二个要复习的字叫 failure， 它是可以当可数名词失败者的意思，或不可数名词也是我们这一课的失败。
And the verb is just to fail.
动词形式是 fail fail.
Next, we got another verb, to conquer.
那我们另外一个动词呢，很重要的字 conquer， 它就是战胜的意思。
It's funny because conquer, like if you look at the pieces, it means to like look together, but really it means to like get.
Yeah, 征服。
Number 4, we have to work out. Now, this doesn't mean to exercise today. It means to get a good result.
那这边的 work out 注意哦，不当做运动，当做是你要有一个好的结果，当做是你要成功，就会用 work out。
Next, we have another verb, to observe.
Observe 就是用你的耳朵，用你的眼睛仔细的去观察。
Number 6 today is an adjective, distinct.
Distinct 形容词，我们也可以把它跟 unique 这个形容词连在一起，独树一格，特别的。
Next, we have environment.
再来，我们有 environment， 注意它的拼字中间有一个小的 an， 很容易忘记写。environment 代表是环境。
And lastly, today we have another adjective, mental.
Mental 是一个形容词，代表是你心里的、脑袋里的，我们就叫 mental。那如果是肢体上的，就叫 physical。
Yeah, and be careful when you say the word mental by itself. If you say, oh, you're mental, that means you're crazy.
You're crazy.
So be careful of that word, okay? All right, and that is all the time we have for today. But we're going to see you again a little later this month. But until then, I'm Chris Gorski.
I'm Minnie.
We'll see you then.
Bye-bye.